Welcome to our lesson today on non-verbal reasoning. Today we're going to be looking at something they're going to ask you in the test, something called vertical chords. This one here, it's a vertical chord. Now we're going to look at this example here, and then I'm going to give you some questions, and I'm going to ask you to do them. Now with vertical chords, usually you got shapes that are going down vertically, and you also got letters that stand for them. For example, in this one, I can see this triangle facing that way has got P as its chord. And this arrow going up has got Q as its chord. And this arrow facing on the left-hand side has got R as its chord. Okay, so you got these shapes here that are coded with the letters. So each question has some shapes on the left with chord letters that describe them. Now, you need to work out what the chord letters mean. So you need to work out what Q is, what P is, and what R is. There is then a shape on its own next to a choice of 5 chords. So this shape here. They wanted to work out which chord describes this shape, right? So if P is that, and Q is that, and R is that, what's that going to be there? And you go to choose the answer. Now, if you look at this, the answer is going to be A. And the reason is because these letters basically describe the direction of these shapes here. They're both arrows and they're exactly the same. The only thing different with them is basically the direction. So P means that the arrow is facing on the right, Q is facing up, and then R is pointing to the left. Now with this one here, I can see that this arrow here is exactly the same as this arrow, which means it's going to be P, and P is basically A. Okay, so that's how to do these kind of questions. Now, I would like you to pause the video quickly, and if you try question 1 and 2, try question 1 and 2. Pause the video and try question 1 and 2. Okay, hope you've tried them. Right, so we're going to go quickly through this. Now with this one, it's a bit tricky because you can see that the letters are two. They're coming in pairs. There's the front one and the one after. Front and the one after. Front and the one after. Now, so you need to know what really the front letters means, the first letters. You need to know what P, S, and R means, first of all. Then you need to know what X, Y, and this X stand for. Now, to do this kind of questions, the first you need to do, look for the letter that is common. For example, I can see that P is only there, S is only here, and R is only there. But if you look at X, X is here, and X is also there. So it means that there's something common between this shape and that shape that is the same. Because this one has got X and that has got X. Okay? So there is something that is the same about them. And the only thing I can see the same about them is the shape. So this one is ellipse. Okay, it's an ellipse shape. Okay, so ellipse. It's elliptical. Okay. So that's the shape of that and that one. So this X here, then second letter stands for what shape you are. That's what it basically means here. So this one has got ellipse, and this one also has got ellipse. So which means that this Y here stands for a circle. You see? So it means that this other here, this shape is a circle. It means that it has to have Y then, because Y means that it's a circle. So it's going to have Y as the second letter. Okay. Then I need to work out what is basically this first letter stand for. The first letters are standing for the outline. This outline is continuous, is solid outline. It's a continuous line. So that P means that it's a continuous line. Now the S here means that it is a dotted line. So it's basically dashed, but it's dashed very briefly. Yeah, so short dashes. Now this R here means you got long dashes. You can see this ones have got long dashes around it. Okay. So the first letters means the outline, whether it is dotted, whether it is dashed, or whether it is continuous or solid like that. Okay. So when you go to this circle here, I can see that the line here around it, the outline is basically solid, is basically continuous, which means that it's basically going to be P. Okay. So it's going to have P as the first letter. And the only one that one is basically going to be C here. So the correct answer is going to be C. Okay. Now let's look at question 2. You might want to pause the video now, since I've showed you how to do question 1. Now you might want to pause the video and try question 2. Pause the video and try question 2 again. Okay, hope you've tried that. The first thing again, as I said earlier, look for the letter that is most common. Okay, the one that's occurring at least twice. Now, if you see here, I've got K occurring there and K occurring there. You need to look at what is the same here between these two, because K is the same between them. That means that K is to do with the rectangle being upright like that. Okay, So the rectangle that's long upwards. So K stands for a rectangle that's long upwards. L stands for a rectangle that is across. So these ones are basically, if you want, they're facing up, so they're long going upwards. And this one is long going across the rectangle. So this one is going to have L in it, okay, because it's a rectangle that's going across. It's going to have L as the first letter, okay, because the rectangle has fallen down across. It's horizontal rectangle. But this one is vertical rectangle, standing up, okay. So that's the first thing. The second thing we need to know is what these letters stand for, the second letters, right? So look for the one that's common. I've got P here, and I've also got P in this one. So you're going to need to look for what is the same here, okay? Now, what is the same in these two is that they've got lines, they've got diagonal lines that are hatched across. So they've got hatched lines that go across, right? Now, with this one, it doesn't have that. It got this hatched line that makes crosses in the middle, okay? You can see there are squares, little squares in the middle, which this one has. So that means that this R basically means that the dashed lines you have inside of you are square, they're crossed, okay? And that's what this one has here. So the second letter is going to be R, like that, okay? Right, so if you want to just mark your answer now, so if you want to mark your answer quickly. Okay, hope you've done well on that one. So pause the video again and try question 3 and 4 quickly. Pause the video, try question 3 and 4. Okay, hope you've tried that. Again, you're going to start by looking at what's most common. If you just look in generally, there's almost nothing that is the same about these shapes. The only thing I can see there is, colored triangle in there, the black triangle, and there's the black hexagon here. That's all I can see that's the same thing. Okay. Right now with that, I can see that this one has got X in it, and this one has also got X in it. And the only thing that is the same with them is that they've got black shape inside. So which means that the second letter, the X and X, means the shape inside is black. So it means that this Y, which is the second letter here, means that the shape inside is blank. So this one here must have a blank shape. So it's gonna be, it's gonna have Y with it. Y being the second letter. So be careful of that. So Y means that the shape inside of you is blank, and that's what we're seeing here. X means that the shape inside of you is basically colored black. Okay. Now the next thing you're gonna need to do is to see what does the first letter stands for. So this A here and that A and that B, what do they really stand for? When you look at A here and A here, I can see one thing. If I count the number of sides this shape on the outside has, it's got 5 sides on the outside, and the one inside has got 3 sides. If I count the number of shapes of the number of sides on the outside one, I can see that there are 6, but on the inside shape, I can see there are 4. Okay, so there's something special about that. I can see that the outside shape has got more sides than the inside shape on both of them. But when it comes to this, the outside shape, the square, has got 4 sides, but the hexagon inside has got 6. So this is the other way around. So A means that the shape outside has got more sides than the shape inside. But B means that the shape inside has got more sides than the shape outside. With this one, I can see that the shape outside, hexagon, has got more sides than the shape inside, which means it's going to be what? It's going to be A, right? So that's going to be AY. So the answer to that should be E. Okay. Now coming to question 4, again look for what is common here. And it's quite difficult to see what's common here because there are 4 shapes now. Okay. But just pick any 2 things. Just pick any 2 things. I'm going to pick this R here and this R here. And I'm going to see what is common between them. Because this has got R, that's got R. The only thing I can see common is that they've got a circle in the side. So the inside shape is a circle. That's what I can see. Okay. Which means that the first letter means the shape inside. Which means that S means that you have a square inside, and P means you have a triangle inside. This one has got a triangle inside, which means it's going to have P as the first letter. Okay. Remember, that's the letter in front. Then I'm going to look for the second letter, what the second letter really means. There is Y here, and there is Y in this one, which means that it's to do with the shape of the arrow. The arrow is facing this side, and that's what Y is. X means that the shape is facing down, and Z means that the arrow is facing to the left. With this one, the arrow is facing to the left as star, so that's going to be Z. Okay. Remember, we're looking for the second letter. That's going to be Z. So that's going to go in front. Okay, so it's going to be PZ. The answer to that is basically going to be D. So post your answer and mark your post your the PowerPoint and just basically mark the answers. Okay, hope you done well on that. So we're just going to move on to the next one in the next lesson.